We dance all day, we dance all night. We afraid of the rain, come rain or sun we shine.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Survive and Thrive, where I believe that wherever you survive, you can thrive, and wherever you be, you can become alive. Now, today's special guest, we have Mr. Ian Blunt. Ian is a success and mindset coach, and we met at a talk up in Windermere, up north, and today we're just gonna take a deep dive into Ian's life.
Yeah. Scary thought.
100%.
Hi guys, how's it going?
Amazing. So, Ian, if do you wanna also give yourself an introduction of sort of maybe where you are right now in the present, in your life, what's going on in your world?
Well, there's quite a lot going on actually, I suppose. But where I'm at in life now is it's a very interesting place to be. It's a very interesting point in life that I hope a lot more people get to experience, but I don't know if everyone will. But it's kind of what I would call a tectonic shift in life for me, right? And that began probably 12, 18 months ago from a place where I was kind of living life, but I wasn't really living, right? And I was existing, but I wasn't really being. And I've really started in the last sort of year and a half to start to really be who it is that I am. Right, and that sounds strange, right? But I kind of feel for all the time before that. I mean, I'm 34 soon, so 30 odd years of just floating.
What would you say is the difference between existing and being? What is
purpose?
Ooh.
Having something to aim at, right? I was kind of walking around with a bow and arrow ready to shoot something, but I had no idea what it was to shoot, right? So it's basically just shooting arrows and they're just landing on the grass. Whereas my purpose, and I've started to live, I'm still, it's not an overnight thing, as I say, it's sort of 18 months of evolution. It's just almost like a worm becoming a butterfly. I need to go into this cocoon of self-realization, this cocoon of re-exploration of who I am, what is it I believe in, what do I think is good, what do I not think is good. I kind of felt like before I was so broad that everything seemed okay. But like, we just finished each other's sentences, right? But it just, I was okay with everything, and I didn't disagree with anything. I just kind of floated, and I've got way more opinions now than I did then. And I'm willing to actually argue or to put my foot down, whereas before I was like, well, I don't want to get involved, that's their thing. Like, I don't have a solid opinion, so I'm just going to stay out of it. Whereas now, if I feel that something is wrong, or someone is doing something that's really hurting someone or affecting someone, I'm actually going to speak up about it. And it wasn't because I was sort of scared, it was just like an unknown of, it's not my life.
It's like I shouldn't get involved. Like, for me, it's always come across as like, my word is not as important, or I shouldn't be saying something right now. Right?
So something like that. It's like I can speak up, but it's not going to make a difference. It doesn't matter what I think. Whereas now, I feel like, again, they might still go, whatever, shut up, man. but that's okay. At least for me, I'm living what I want. I can sleep better at night saying, well, at least I had my say. It didn't change anything, but I've expressed it, or I've said it.
Well, it didn't change anything that you know, right?
Well, if anything, maybe it sits in the back of their brain and slowly it will change, or maybe that guy was right, or whatever. But like I say, I feel like I'm existing now, which is kind of cool.
I think there's some, for everyone else, how did you cultivate your own opinion? Because we live in such a sheep culture where we're gonna have the latest iPhone, as you were saying to me earlier. What's his name? Gary Vee. Okay. Gary Vee's always saying following the Joneses and things like that. So how did you pretty much unpack who Ian Blunt is and say, actually, Ian Blunt, I believe in this, I believe in that, I don't actually agree with that? How did you unpack?
There's probably two things. I think one, I got into the point where I was fed up of just being pushed around. And I don't mean physically and bullied or anything like that. I mean just sort of, because I was floating, it was very easy to just waft me around. So someone can just say, well, you can go over there now, right?
Yeah.
Because I was just a cloud. So eventually I just got sick of that. I just got so sick of just being non-existent and non-committal, and I almost felt like I didn't matter. It was like, go away cloud, go float over there, you know? And I was like, no, that's not cool. Like, I don't want to be a cloud anymore. I want to be a rock, or I want to be a tree, or so I think that was one thing that certainly sparked it. It was like, I need to count. And if I'm going to count, I need to harden up. I can't be so Play-Doh. I can't just let people just manipulate me and bend me the way that they want, because I've always been, and I always will be, to a certain degree, a people pleaser.
Yeah.
But people would then use me for what they wanted, and that can be in friendships, in family, and a lot of the time for me in relationships. It was crazy when I look back at relationships now, and I think to myself, like, I was just being such a nice guy, which is great. But guess what? None of those relationships have worked out.
Yeah.
Because I was just doing whatever it took to make that person happy, but I didn't stop to say, hey, listen, that did make me happy. And I didn't want to, I was brought up around confrontation, so I didn't want to confront it. I didn't want to be the guy that was fighting with his girlfriend, or you know, being
causing a scene.
I mean, I never would cause a scene, but I didn't even want to sit in a room one-on-one and have angst, because I grew up around confrontation.
Yeah.
So it's just like, avoid it, just mold yourself to the situation, say you're sorry, and move on.
Would you
But
say
sometimes that's not healthy? You know?
Would you say it's because you didn't want another person to feel like that as well, or?
Yeah, I mean, I as I say, you know, for me, confrontation scares me to a degree, and so I don't want someone else to experience that. I don't want them to be like, oh, I'm fighting with Ian right now.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a negative thing. But sometimes, and it was an epiphany for me. Sometimes fighting is good. If it's controlled, I mean, as long as it doesn't go out of hand, because it's a vent, it's expressing your emotions, because keeping it all locked up and shaking the Coke bottle, it's gonna pop.
Exactly.
And that's when the bad things happen. It's actually healthy to have an argument now and then, and a debate and that kind of stuff. As long as it's not done in a mean way, or a horrible way, or a vindictive way. And you don't attack a person on their personal grounds, like, oh, well, you're an XYZ, and name calling, like, that's just immature. But to have a healthy sort of argument about something is really good. So
What's your approach to that, like confrontational arguments, discussions? Because for me, I always make it about me. I always make it about me in the terms of like what's gone wrong. I always seek to find where I contributed to that, and then how I can almost resolve it. What possibility do I want to create further on, and what type of resolution do I need to do next time, or almost how can I, let's say, fix it this time round, you know, to step into that person's world and see how they're feeling, and how do you do it?
I mean, look, it's hard to have a strategy, I suppose. The one thing that I've always, and some of my clients are in very sort of disruptive situations at the moment. So either work is not going well, so they are then having problems at home, and they're fighting with their family, or vice versa, you know, and so there's a discord. But one thing I've found commonly, it sounds easy to say, it really does, but like always, if you can, take a step back before you actually start to use words. And it's hard with emotions, right? You're boiling over, and now's the time, but then you start screaming and shouting. So I've always just been very good at handling my emotions. I'm a very steady person, so I never freak out in situations. But for me, if I have an issue and I feel myself getting emotional, you need to recognize it right away. So if we were having a fight, right? I would say something like, Washi, I don't want this to get carried away, so we're going to put a pin in this. I want to come back and have this conversation, but not right now, because I don't want to say something that I regret or makes the hole deeper. Do you know what I mean? And you now know, okay, recognition, there is a problem. This person's not denying it, they're not calling me names, they're just literally, they're recognizing, yep, I have a problem, you agree there's a problem, but not right now. And then maybe tomorrow I give you a call and say, hey, can we talk now? And you've got to remember, right? The problem is between two people. So if I called you and I said, hey, Washi, like, can we talk now? If it's not good for you at that time to talk about that, if you're not ready, you just say, listen, for me right now, I need a bit more time. And I have to respect that. Relationships, be it family, friends, and love, it's all about, respect. I have to respect that you need more time, and you need to respect that I need more time. And then at the end of the day, we'll still have that conversation, but I can tell you now, we're going to have such a different conversation, and we're going to make so much more ground. Because it's coming from a place of, are you ready now?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm ready. Okay, perfect, let's talk. And I know that's an ideal world because emotions get the best of us.
Of course.
But for the most part, whenever you've got an issue with someone, you know, you need to pick the timing right, you know, in order to thrive in that relationship, you know. So, yeah.
Amazing. I wanted to go back into what in my world is like integrating your shadow, as they say, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, how is that process for you in terms of, obviously, like, it's being able to say I don't like this and I like this, but like, how was the process of that? What was going on in your mind when that was happening? Was it happening at an anxious time, depressing time? Because earlier on you were talking about how when anxiety meets the ego, they're both colliding, right? And then through that collision is where hopefully your soul, I think is what you said, will take the higher ground and then realize, okay, this is not necessarily the direction I want to be taking. So
I mean, it's going to sound like that easy get out of jail free sort of statement, so bear with me, but really a lot of things when it comes to that comes down to gut feeling. Does it actually feel right? Like, and they say, they call it a gut feeling because it's supposed to be sort of something you feel here, but it's you know when you're doing something that's what you want to be doing and when you don't. Like if you're on a date or if you're at a job interview and you just think to yourself, I don't want this job, right? It's your gut saying to you like, this is not what we want. And that's your soul, and that's what we were talking about before, that your ego is saying you need a job, man, you need money, you need security. Like your parents are going to be disappointed if you don't get that job, or you don't get a job, or whatever, right? But then your soul is saying, do you really want to clock in at 8 a.m. and leave at 7 p.m. every day for a little bit of money and to just not feel like the person that you want to be, you know? So you have to follow your gut. And it is tough, it's really tough, because if you don't have a lot of money, you need a job. But just try and be selective with it. Just try and be a little bit more like, is this even close to what I want to do? You know, I think it was Warren Buffett who's obviously a multi-millionaire, billionaire. I mean, he's got so much money, it's ridiculous. Not that the money matters, but the success to get there comes from a genius mindset. And he once was writing a story or an article that I read, which I found so fascinating, because I'm not into finance, I don't know what's going on in the stock markets and stuff, but it's not my thing. But it was really, really interesting what he said, because he said, like, if you want to be in a certain position or work in a certain company, take any job in that company. Doesn't matter what it is, because then you're in the company. Does that make sense? So if I wanted to be working on ESPN as a sports broadcaster, and I look online, there's no jobs as a broadcaster, I go, I'll never work at ESPN, I'm going to give up on my dreams. His mentality is, if they're looking for a receptionist, just put your ego to the side, listen to your soul, and your soul is saying, I want to be in that environment, take the secretary job, because you work there for a year, you meet the person in this department, you move, and you get there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
But again, it's your gut, you have to follow your gut. If you're sitting there on a date, in a family therapy session, a job interview, whatever it is, and you just don't feel comfortable, step away. Take that little time out, look at it. I call it, when I work with clients, I call it the astronaut technique. So view this problem from the astronaut above. What does this look like? Am I ready to go back to Earth? Or do I want to hang out in space for a little bit longer and get a bit more perspective? And I find that's a technique that I use very often for myself. When a situation is not good for me or I feel uncomfortable, I'll say, listen, politely, I just need to go, or whatever it is. You don't cause a fuss. And then I analyze it from the spaceship and I say, what actually happened there? And then the next time it happens, you can react in a way that
is aligned with who you are.
Yeah. Or you can just avoid situations like that if it makes you feel uncomfortable. Yeah.
100%. From that, do you believe in, like, not to sound too woo-ah, right, but like vibrational alignment with things? As you were saying, if that doesn't feel right, you should avoid it. Do you believe in that to be aligned, you should go for the things that not necessarily always make you feel good, but make you feel good?
I think with people, yes.
Okay.
With people, I very much believe in energies and the sort of the feeling, the vibe, the spirit, whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
Like people talk about auras,
Yes.
you know, and colors of auras. Now, I don't necessarily go that far, but you know, but I very much believe that you can feel somebody's energy quite quickly. Because at the end of the day, there is an energy about our bodies, right? Because there's things moving all the time inside of our bodies. There's, you know, I'm not a scientist and stuff, but there's what are they called, like neutrons and positive and negative sort of
Firing notes,
yeah, things going on. So like, as you can tell, I'm not a doctor, but you know, I feel that with people, certainly you can pick up on energy. And again, a people pleaser, someone like yourself or me growing up, like I would just want to be friends with everybody.
Yeah.
I had a disruptive family environment, so I just wanted everyone to like me and to everyone to be friends with me. So the quickest way to do that is just to say yes to anything. Do you want to come to that party? Yes. Can you come help me move furniture? Yes. You know, we're all going to go smoke some weed. You want to do that? Yes. Like anything to fit in, right? So you become what I call the negative yes man. You know that show or that movie, The Yes Man? It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Love Jim Carrey. And it's an interesting theory, right? But you become a negative yes man in that you say yes to everything, even if it's negative for you, because you just want to fit in. You just want to matter. You want to count. You want to be loved. You want someone to care about you. But the thing is that when you're building around those negative environments, people aren't going to care about you. So you're actually not going to get what you're looking for. So for me now, I'm very selective with who I hang out with and who I'm friends with. I can meet a lot of people, but the people I'm actually going to spend time with have to be on that same kind of energy level as me. I don't care what they believe in, I don't care what they do for a living, it's not about that. It's, do you have the sort of energy, the same energy as me, and similar beliefs? You know, do you believe that people are people no matter what, no matter sex, religion, race, whatever? Do you believe that human beings are human beings? If you don't, we're not really going to hang out. You can exist. I'm not going to stop you, I'm not going to do anything, but we're not going to be very close, you know, because that's not my energy. You know what I mean?
I completely.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I really want to like do a rewind. And just have a look into your world, what type of life you were living before you actually got to this space of like what people call spiritual enlightenment. But it's just awareness, right? Awareness of self and what you want, and awareness of others as well. Like how were you doing things? Who was Ian Blunt before Ian Blunt 18 months ago?
A very sort of strange, oddball kind of do whatever it takes kind of guy, I suppose. The short version is, this is really short, is like I said, disruptive family life growing up, moved around a lot, lived in different places with different family members and step brothers and sisters, and so moved around a lot. Was in a really good school, which was really, really lucky. I was privileged to go to a really good school, which kept me grounded to a certain degree. And then I went off to university, it was great, had fun, made friends, like you do. And then I got out into the world and I started traveling, and I've just worked it out today. I've been to like, I think it was 68 countries around the world. So
Traveling and working?
For work, yeah. So
what
I
have you
got
been
lucky.
up to?
So I was working on cruise ships. So I was able to travel around the world on cruise ships and did some really cool things like Rio Festival in South America, sailed past Antarctica, in and out of Sydney, so past the Opera House a bunch of times, San Francisco, like you name it, man, Alaska, so I was all over and it was really cool. But here's the crux of it, right? And I've said this in other interviews as well. Despite all this great stuff that's happening for me, I was earning money, I was saving money, I was traveling, had, you know, people around me that were somewhat fun and interesting. I wasn't fulfilled. My soul was still crying. My soul was a plant that was slowly dying, and I wasn't watering my soul. So I was earning money and travel, which is cool, but I didn't feel like it was my purpose. And so I realized, and I fell into a depression. I was like, I'm unhappy. I had days where I woke up and I said, I don't really feel like existing today. I don't know if you've ever been there or if anyone's that watching this has been there, but it's hectic. Like, you know, I would open up my eyes and I would literally think, oh, I have to exist here. And that's heavy, man, because it's like, what is the point, right? And a friend of mine on another cruise ship, he sadly committed suicide, and that like rocked the tree for me. I was like, I'm not exactly in a happy place right now, right? And if I don't take action, who knows what's going to happen, right? Because people out there, they judge it, they're like, oh, I can never commit suicide. Don't say that. Don't say that, because you don't know where that person is in their life. When you're backed up in a corner and you think, my existence doesn't matter, you don't know what you would do. So don't say that, don't judge that person. Just say, it's sad that it happened, and I wish I could have helped, or just it's sad it happened, you know?
Yeah.
So I got into a really bad place, and I thought, it's because I don't have purpose. And I thought, what is my purpose in life? And I had no clue, man. Like, people watching this might go, oh, I don't have a purpose, right? But that's because you're operating on a level of doing things that your ego wants and not what your soul wants. What does your soul want? My soul wants to help people. I want to go and speak in front of a room of 1,000 people, or do a small workshop with 10 people that are struggling with something, and help them know that it's going to be okay. You know what I mean? Because that for me makes me feel like I'm valid, I'm worth something, and therefore I have my purpose. You know, what would you do for free? I would go to a room. Someone phoned me and said, Ian, there's a room of 15 people. They're all from really hard family backgrounds. Can you come talk to them? We can't pay you. I'll do it. Because it gives me a sense of purpose. You know, that's me connecting with spirituality, the world. I always talk about, what is your reason for being on this planet, right?
Yeah.
Or in a reverse way, and it's a little bit dark, but bear with me. I say to you, what do you want your tombstone to say?
Yeah.
Is it going to say, had $1 million, started a company? Or is it going to say, helped 100 people turn their life around? Which one would you want?
Helps 100 people turn their
I know
life
which one
around.
I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that is purpose. You know, so for anyone that's struggling with anxiety, depression, you know, fear of the unknown, so they're just literally stuck, right? That happens a lot, which it's fine. What is your purpose? What do you want to achieve in life? And a lot of the time it comes down to helping other people.
For me, in my program, I have it's called the Grand Vision, and it's not about your career, it's about who or even what do you want to serve. Because I know my younger sister is personally, she's a massive fan of pets.
No, watch it.
She loves animals, she loves dogs, she loves cats, she loves like Billy Goat Grass, you know, and she wants to be a vet, you know.
Perfect, yeah.
So it's like, and then other people care about the world, which is still serving humans still, but it's like, what do you want to be a contribution to, you know?
Yeah.
And like for me, that resonates to me so deeply, because once I realized that, I mean, all I want to do is help people. All I want to do is I also get to know people. It's just like, oh, I'm okay. Everything's okay. Like the world is not crumbling beneath your feet, right?
Yeah,
so,
and that's the thing. And if your sister's in a very fortunate position that she's obviously smart, she's passionate, which is great. If you can marry your passion and your career together, you're literally going to live the happiest life imaginable.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to then have, if you have family and you have kids, you're going to bring them up in the way of, I want you to do what you're passionate about. And that's what we need. We need more parents saying, I want you to do what makes your heart full.
Yes.
You know, so if you can marry those two, then that's great. A lot of people can't, and that's okay. Like, I wanted to be an actor growing up, I wanted to be on TV, I want to be a TV star, and blah, 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 right? And that's just it's my vanity of wanting people to notice me, because when I was young, I wasn't noticed, right? I was in this sort of situation where, whatever, right? Just carry on, right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted fame and fortune. I was like, I want to be a TV star. But it doesn't, now to me, it doesn't matter, right? Because I've worked it out. But that was my passion. But unfortunately, I didn't necessarily have the talent or the skills or the looks or whatever to become an actor or a face of a brand or whatever, right? But like
at that time.
right. But the thing is though that if you can't make it your career, and 90% of people are not going to be able to make passion their career.
Yeah.
If you can't, that's fine, but don't not include it in your life. So if I'm still passionate about acting, I can go and take acting classes. When I was living in Texas, I took improv classes to meet people. It was fulfilling a great sort of sense of who I am. So if you enjoy something, I met someone on a plane recently, amazing conversation. She was probably like, oh, why did I sit next to this guy?
Yeah.
But she loved athletics and running, and she was a great runner, like loved it a lot, but then she had a motorbike accident, hurt her back, and couldn't do long distance running anymore. She just couldn't really do what she loved, and she was really sad and really sort of this broken bird. And I said to her, but doesn't mean you have to just kiss it goodbye. You can become a coach. Wouldn't go and helping other kids become the athlete that you always wanted to be, make you feel fulfilled? She was like, yeah, you're right. And I was like, so there's your answer. Now you just need to put it into action. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if anyone watching this and listening is feeling purposeless and I don't know what my purpose is, what do you love doing? If I said you've got a week, here's some money, just go do whatever you like doing. What is it you want to go do?
Yeah.
Do you want to go play sports? Do you want to go drive fast cars? Do you want to go to the theater? Do you want to play your guitar for a week? Like, what is it? That's what your passion is.
Yeah.
Now just make sure you include it in your life all the time. Take guitar lessons, start a band, whatever. Do you know what I mean? And I can guarantee you're going to live such a happy life because you're going to feel like you're doing what you want.
Exactly. I think the biggest thing is like purposeful, living purposefully, right? And not expecting anything from it and just doing it because like, hey, this is what I love, this is what I want to do, this is how I want to fly.
Yeah.
I think,
which is true.
And I think for me it was a very difficult thing because a lot of the things that I wanted to do have always been like, oh, I can turn that into something, right? And then first it was music, and then for now what I do, I sit in my bedroom and then I make music. And I can't paint for like whatever, right? But I still paint. I love the combination.
It's a great expression of the soul.
You know, and it's finding discovering those things, and it's what you said about incorporating it in your daily life or in your world. For me, that's the most important thing. It's been like the most freeing thing as well. I'm not pressured to release a track for 100 people or 1,000 people to listen to. I'm making this music for me, and if it happens to relate with someone else,
perfect. And that's it. Like you need to act for you and not for others.
Yeah.
And I'm not meaning do stuff. I'm meaning make your decisions based on how it's going to make you feel, not how what someone else is going to say.
Exactly.
Because you can't control what they're going to say. You can control how you feel. If I'm doing something that I absolutely love and someone goes on, that's weird. I don't care. You know why? Because I'm absolutely loving it. You know? Or like, oh, why do you take singing lessons? Because it makes me happy. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't ever let anyone judge you for having good feelings. It's not their place.
Wow.
You get to feel what you want to feel.
Yeah.
They get to say what they want to say. That's fine. But you get to feel what you want to feel. Like Billy Elliot's a great movie, right? How he just wants to do this ballet, he wants to do this dancing, and his dad is giving him all this crap about it and stuff. You know what I mean? And there's this whole thing, and at the end it's Hollywood, and oh, you're my favorite, I love you, son, and it's great. But that's a good example. He was like, I don't care what my family is saying. Like, I don't care what people are judging. All the guys at school are calling me all these names, but I'm doing it because it makes me happy. Do you know what I mean? And the story just writes itself. You know what I mean? And this whole concept that you're onto, which is great, is survive and then thrive. I've done the survive phase, and a lot of the people that are watching might just be getting out of there or still in that survive. And once you survive, the best way to thrive is to live according to your own rules. You don't know how good life can be when you live it on your own terms. And we all spend time living it on our boss, our mom, our dad, our best friend. My partner says I must do this, you know. They don't get to decide what you do in your life. And I was just thinking about it this morning. Every now and then I have good ideas, or like brainwaves. But I'll tell you, because you're the first to hear this, I guess. But I do have brainwaves and say, you don't get to design your past, but you get to design your future. And that was my epiphany this morning. It happens like once a month, But you whatever's happened has happened. You don't get to design your past because it has happened.
Yeah.
But you get to design your future.
Like,
not your mom, not your dad, not your boss, not your partner.
Yeah.
Not whatever the website says, not what social media says. Washi gets to decide, these are the parts I'm going to put in place to build this tower of who I'm going to become.
Exactly.
You know?
Facts.
And that's thrive.
That's incredible.
And
that is thrive.
Yeah.
You just blew my mind. Especially with no one can tell you how to feel. You know, people can have their opinions of it, but no one can tell you how to feel. Like, to me, it's like, oh, it's okay. Don't feel guilty. Like, let me live my world.
But we do live a lot of our lives feeling because of other people's feelings. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so
100%.
We'll spend a lot of our day feeling a certain way because of other people's feelings. So this is something I've learned, and you've got to be very cautious with it. But like, I learned how to be selfish, but positively selfish. Does that make sense? So like,
not narcissistic.
Exactly. I'm not out to hurt anyone, but like, I need to do what's good for me, and I think it's really hard because we get taught from a very young age to be empathetic and to care and don't hurt someone else's feelings and stuff, which is great, but not at a cost to our own. And I think that's where a lot of teaching maybe in schools could be improved or at home. Parents could say, listen, I want to explain what I meant by that. I meant, I don't want you to hurt that person's feelings, but if it hurt your feelings, then we need to talk about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'll make and you'll make a lot of decisions based on what we think someone else is going to feel. Do you know what I mean? So we're going to go, I don't want to do that because it's going to make my mom feel upset, but it's also not good for me.
Yeah.
So like, now I'm caught in this like bubble of, I really don't want to hurt their feelings, but I'm hurting my own feelings. And then what good people do is we go, I just want to make them happy.
Yeah.
And then we hurt ourselves. Which again, I'm not saying it's right, but you have to learn when to control that. And through having a mature conversation, that person is going to understand whatever it is, that decision that you're going to talk to, you know, that parent or that friend, they'll understand if it comes from a good place. Like, listen, man, it hurts me to have to tell you this, but like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And they'll understand. And if they don't, it's okay.
At least they know. At least they're aware. It's not like a conflicting battle of an attitude problem or something like that. It's just like it's out in the open. Everyone knows what you're about. And earlier you were saying, speaking of, well, this is me now. And if someone comes across to me and they don't like who I am or we don't vibe, it's no longer a problem anymore. It's more of like, okay, great, thank you very much. You can carry on with your life.
You know, namaste, have a good day.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Yeah.
Like, and look, there's 7 billion people on the planet.
Yeah.
You probably, if you get lucky, you probably meet, I'm talking shake hands and hug maybe 100,000 people in your whole life or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, and these, obviously I don't know the statistics, but it's something like that, right?
Yeah.
There's 7 billion people out there. Let them get on with their lives and you get on with yours. The people that you're going to click with are the people on the same wavelength as you. And that's the craziest thing about it. If you're living life pretending to be someone else or pretending to be happy and covering stuff up, the people you're connecting to, right, in your social circle are on the same path.
Yeah.
But it's not the path you want to be on. So here's the thing. If you need to flush the toilet, it's not easy, but if you need to flush the toilet and literally say, okay, I'm on my own now. I don't have parents, families, friends. For now, I'm on my own. And I'm going to do whatever Washi wants to do. If anyone else wants to jump on that train and ride with me, then we're in it together.
Yeah.
But if they don't, cool, no problem.
Yes.
But at least you're going, because then you're going to start connecting with people that you do get along with, the people that do understand you, the people that do want to have that kind of conversation that you want to have. But I have the number of times I hear people say, I have no one to talk to. It means they're surrounded by the people that are not on the same track as you. And they need to split from that, not in a mean way, not in a you suck, leave me alone, just in a, okay, that's not working, I need to go make some friends that are on my wavelength, you know what I mean? And it's impossible to be friends with everyone, it's impossible for everyone to like you, so just be you. And the people who like I think Dr. Zeus is one of my favorite sort of inspirations. I love Dr. Zeus and how he thought in his mind. He just said like, what did he say? Something along the lines of, the people who matter don't mind, and the people who mind don't matter. And that's cool because it's true. It's like, if I want to be a Billy Elliot and run through the streets dancing, there's going to be people that are going to say, boo. It's okay. But there's also people that are going to say, yes, we love you, come dance with us, or whatever, right?
Yes.
And you've now found your crew.
Amazing.
That's it.
That's perfect. So, what's next?
The movie comes out next month. You know, I'm still continuing my journey. I firmly believe you never stop learning in life. I genuinely believe, and I'm not talking about academic, I'm talking about experientially, socially. You can meet someone that just blows your mind. You can fall in love with somebody for all the randomest reasons. Like, so I think as long as you keep experiencing life, so I'm definitely going to invest some time and money into going on experiential things, so like retreats and these kind of workshops and meeting people. I want to come in contact with as many people as possible. I have a book that I've written, which I hope to bring out next year, so in a couple of months. I'm planning that.
Name drop?
Well, yeah, I'm working on it. It's the name I chose is taken by another book, and you're allowed to release the same title books, but you just don't know. At the moment, it's called Any Spare Change. because it's revolved around a homeless guy's life that I met in America. He was homeless for 7 years, addicted to drugs, got his girlfriend on the streets pregnant, and she was using drugs throughout the pregnancy, and then she gave birth to the baby, and then just 4 days later said, I don't want to be a mom, and she headed back on the streets, and he was still addicted to crystal meth at that time. So the book is how he got into that situation, and then how he needed to clean up his life in order to get his son back from social services, and then the power of change. So it's called Any Spare Change because I want people to realize that if Nick, this guy, can do it, then you can also turn your life around. Just, to come from drug abuse, alcohol abuse, living on the streets for 7 years, 3 attempted suicides, to become a father figure for your child is not easy. And I love his story because it makes my problem seem so much less crazy, if that makes sense. Now, I can't say one problem's worse than the other. It's just a case of, man, I thought my life was hectic, but I couldn't imagine living on the streets for a week. And he did it for 7 years, man. Like 7 years. It's crazy to think the kind of grit that person must have, but it's the exact kind of grit that a father needs to have if they're going to raise a son with really good
social
morals,
skills,
so that's probably my next chapter as well, and then I'll go around and be talking to some people, inspiring some people to turn their life around, and who knows, man, who knows. That's what's on the short-term horizon.
Amazing. Are there any you've already mentioned a few quotes, but is there like one quote that sticks out to you that that gets you through, or even one song that gets you through your day, your week, your month, that you always return to if you need to pick me up?
Songs are tough because I think that they are very timely. You can listen to a song at the right time to change your mood. I used to listen to Hakuna Matata now and then, which is just silly, but I like the beat kind of like picks you up. Or The Lion Sleeps Tonight was something that I do. There's a really cool band, I don't think you've heard of them, called Mango Groove, a South African band.
Is it house?
No. It's like Kwaito. It's not Kwaito, but it's like sort of. It was based in the townships of Africa, so they use penny whistles. It's very cool, but it's very jivey. So that just lifts my spirits. It's not a song, I would say, but that lifts my spirits. And then quotes again are really hard. I used to enjoy this one. I don't necessarily live by it all the time because, as I say, I don't want to be a negative yes man. But it was quite cool because it said, I'd rather live a life saying "oh well" than live a life saying "what if." Which is quite cool because it helped me shape a lot of my travels as well. If someone said, "Hey, we're going, rock climbing, or we're going, zip lining or something," I'm like, I don't want to sit back and say, well, what if I had gone? It might have been a fun day. Or like we talk about passion. Like if I love music, for example, like what if I could have been in a band? Or what if I could have released a track? It doesn't matter how many people, but what if I could have released a track? So I'd rather say, you know what, I am going to sign up for those lessons. And I don't care what they think. I'm going to do it because it's what I want to do. So I put a lot of quotes up on my social media, and I generate a lot of my own quotes. But I don't know. I don't think there is any one solution for any one thing. I don't think there's one quote that fits every situation in life. There's not one song. There's not one meal, one drug, one whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's just a case of at different times of your life, things are going to present themselves, and then they're either going to land like I've read some quotes and I'm like, I needed to hear that today, or man, that hit me deep. Like I get what this person is saying, and then there's others where you just go, it's not going to change my life, But that's because we're on life as an experience. It's a one-way ride, and you're going to see some stuff along the way, and hopefully you see more good than bad. So,
Amazing. Thank you so much for being with me today, and for depositing so much knowledge. It's been amazing.
Not a problem at all. I just hope it's useful for people. I mean, the more people like you and me can do to help people see the brighter side of things, I think life can be good.
Life can be great.
It can be really good. So let's see what happens. Good luck with everything.
We dance all day, we dance all night. We afraid of the rain. Come rain or sun, we shine.